Ten Hag under fire, Marcus Rashford back in the nightclub, Pelestri out on loan, United advanced to the fifth round of the FA Cup, and of course, we are playing Wolves today in the Premier League. Welcome back to another episode of the Glory Reds podcast, and it's been a while. We haven't been online for about maybe 10, 11 days. So, yeah, we'll get more into that later, but let's play a little bit of some catch up, all right? So, first and foremost, we played Newport on the weekend. We beat them 4-2. Not the most inspiring performance, I would say, and not just from me. I think the fan base collectively agree that the performance was just not what we're expecting. And definitely, if we had to play a much more difficult team, the scoreline would have been a different result. Now, look, I'm not trying to be negative, okay? But let's just be honest. These guys took Newport for granted from kickoff all the way to 90 minutes. You can probably say they only kicked it up a gear when Newport scored the two goals and equalized. But from kickoff, we really underestimated that team. We were not, even trying to make an effort. And those are the type of games where we need to go assert our dominance, regardless whether they are um, uh, an opposing side or not. All the great teams, all the big teams, they go and do that. They go and demolish the small teams and really certify their dominance in the game. But United played that game like it was a training match. We went in there, we got our two goals. Instead of kicking it up a gear, instead of really going for it, we sat back and then the players started becoming greedy. Garnacho, Anthony, they were not supplying our striker, Rasmus Hoyland, and they were letting a lot of good chances go, which resulted to Newport equalizing, and then we had to switch it up because we just had to win the game. It was we couldn't lose the game. It was really gonna be bad for us. But anyway, like I said, not really gonna get into it. All right. It was an okay performance. We've qualified to the fifth round. I think the last games played these past few. Wait, I could be wrong. I think the last games maybe could be playing this weekend or next week, and then we'll find out who we're going to be facing in the fifth round, or maybe that information is already out. But anyway, moving on, guys. Transfer deadline is today. There hasn't been a lot of movement at Manchester United. I think the only confirmed news that we have so far is that Pelestri is now officially on loan. I'm literally seeing the headlines now on the Manchester United website. Pelestri seals loan move. So no more Pelestri. He's a player that, as the United fan base have always wanted him to at least have more game time than what he's currently having. All right. Clearly, Ten Hag doesn't favor him as a starting player, but we have always wanted him to at least have more time coming off the bench, maybe 20, 30 minutes in some games. And yeah, even there were so many opportunities that Pelestri could have started in that first team, and he wasn't given that opportunity. And I think we all agree that Pelestri offers so much more complexity in the game than what Anthony does in that right position. And I think we can all agree that Pelestri is more daring. He makes more crosses. He's not selfish. He takes on a lot of defenders one on one. He's a real asset for Manchester United. So I really hope that this loan spell is going to inspire Ten Hag in terms of if he'll be utilized more and he'll be able to see what value Pelestri really adds to a side that need that type of dynamic winger. So all the best to Pelestri. I hope it works out. And yeah, as far as transfers, I think that's probably the only big news that's out right now. In terms of incoming transfers, nothing. There's rumors, those rumors of Benzema possibly making a move to United, those rumors of Michael Olise from Crystal Palace making a move to United. So those I think have probably been the only two outstanding or strong rumors that have been making the rounds. Okay. But like I said, today is deadline day. I don't know if we're going to get any deals done. I highly doubt that anything is going to happen until deadline. So we probably stuck with the same squad until the end of the season. Fortunately for us, we have a lot of players that are injured that are back from injury now. The likes of Ericsson, Casemiro, Martinez, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire. So we have a lot of available players right now that we did not have at the start of the season, which of course is good news because we've got more squad depth, more rotation, more options from the bench. So let's just hope that not making any moves to bring in any players does not harm us, because we really got rid of Pelestri, you know, and man, like I said, he was just one of those players that you just wanted to see him come off the bench. So fortunately for us, Ahmed is recovered from injury. I think these past couple of weeks has been ill. That's why it didn't start. So it's been nothing serious. So we also hope to see Ahmed, starting in the team. So yeah, so that is transfers. Now, update on there's a piece here I just want to quickly read out. All right. There's an update on team news, and this is concerning Victor Lindelof. So obviously we have some players that got injured, ill. So this is basically an update on their availability. So on the website, Victor Lindelof is back training with the first team squad after undergoing surgery on a minor groin issue in December. The Swedish skipper last played for the Reds in a 2-1 win over Chelsea earlier that month, with Lisandro Martinez and Harry Maguire also fit again. So anyway, so these are the three players that they've been talking about on the website. So yeah, Victor Lindelof. Yeah, he's back in training with the first team squad, so that's obviously good news. I don't know if he'll be available for today's game. Highly doubt it. Maybe he might be on the bench, but I think I definitely see Lisandro Martinez, Licha, and Varane starting against Wolves today. But yeah, that was just a quick, you know what I mean, quick tidbit. Moving on to the Wolves game today. So we're playing Wolves today, and this is a quick report or a quick briefing from the press conference that Ten Hag had. All right. So here it is: Manchester United boss Erik Ten Hag believes his attackers will benefit from the return of several key players, both at the back and in the midfield. Now, obviously, these are the players that we talked about earlier on. So he speaks about Lisandro Martinez, Luke Shaw, Casemiro, approved their fitness after injury in our Emirates FA Cup victory over Newport this weekend. So yeah, I'm not gonna go through all the questions that he was asked. I'll just go through a couple of questions, which is going to segue into the last piece that I want to cover in this episode. So, the first question he was asked was, did Marcus Rashford apologize for what he did last week? Now, this, like I said, is something we want to be speaking about at the end of this episode. So, we all know that Marcus Rashford went to Belfast, partied, came back, lied, wasn't fit to train, and then ultimately was punished, did not start against Newport, and then you know, what happened afterwards. I'm losing my train of thought. But yeah, anyway, that whole incident happened, and then it leaked to the media, and Eric Ten Hag said, "Look, this is an issue that we're gonna solve internally, and we're not going to, you know what I mean, publicize our drama." And it seems that Marcus Rashford always been forgiven and is going to be available for today's game against Wolves. Whether it's going to be a starting player or on the bench, he's going to play. That's what it basically looks like, and that's what it basically seems like. So obviously, more to develop on this news. You know, internet broke. A lot of people comparing this situation to Jadon Sancho's situation, saying, okay, but why is Marcus Rashford given leeway and Jadon Sancho wasn't? And it's all about who threw, the shots first publicly, and who's wrong, who's right. It's a mess. All right. So anyway, moving on. Um, Next question that he was asked was, and just still on that, do you feel as though he's testing your authority, because it has been twice this season that he has been transgressed? Also, he's joined up with the publicist who has deals with other players, Jadon Sancho and Cristiano Ronaldo, who have also crossed you in the past. Is right? And he further goes and says, no, nothing to do with the relationship between me and Marcus. But as I said, maybe you have another question. Otherwise, we'll pass it through. So clearly, he does not want to deal with this issue so much. Um, Next question. Um, why does Jadon Sancho get exiled from the squad for what he did, and Marcus Rashford is welcome back into the squad after what he did? And Ten Hag replied with, we can sort everything out internally, but Jaden chose to go public. Now, this statement is the one I was referring to that, really sent the internet, off. and people had a lot to say about that comment. To say, okay, but Ten Hag, you're the one who went public first. It wasn't Jadon Sancho. Others saying that no, Jadon Sancho shouldn't have approached it like that. Others saying the reason why the situations are handled differently is because Marcus Rashford apologized and Jadon Sancho didn't. So yeah, it's crazy, and maybe me and Ben might get into an episode about this. I don't know, but there's definitely a conversation to be had about this Marcus Rashford situation specifically. And I think when we do a deep dive into it, I would want us to steer far away from comparing it to the Jadon Sancho situation, because I think on a surface level, it's very easy to come out and say, oh, let's compare the two situations. But I think in depth, they're completely different, isolated situations that you cannot compare, because there were two different events that happened to get to the different conclusions that eventually happened. So with Jadon Sancho, it was he wasn't performing, he came late for training, etc., etc. And with Marcus Rashford, he went out, he partied, he wasn't fit to train. Right, two different scenarios. If both scenarios were the same and the outcome was different, then I think there would be a much bigger conversation there. I think it'll be much easier to say, oh, let's compare and talk about the two situations, where I think that the events that led up to these things happening are completely different. And in all honesty, they should not be compared. So yeah, moving on. Are you concerned if you pick him tomorrow to start, that might send out the wrong message? And then Ten Hag says, I didn't pick him on Sunday. We drew the line, and from that point on, we move on. So it seems like this second part of the interview was based a lot on Jadon Sancho. The second part of the interview was based a lot on the Jadon Sancho situation and Marcus Rashford. Now, I had a conversation with Ben the other day, very brief conversation. We spoke about the Marcus Rashford thing. So I was going to play you the VN that he sent me over WhatsApp, and I'll be replying to his VN. So let's hear what Ben has to say about the Marcus Rashford situation.
People have been saying that I'm very harsh ever since the Sancho situation. So with this one, I don't even want to get involved. I have very harsh, strong words for Rashford. In fact, not that I don't even want to hold. Nah. I will do something. I will do something. What he's doing is absolutely disrespectful and everything like that. Like, I'm not having it. Like, yo, the way I want Rashford out of Manchester United, but I don't see a future with Rashford. I don't. I don't see a future where we're going to get the best out of Rashford. And when I say the best, I don't see a future where he's going to give us consistent goals. Like, we're always going to be going through this bullshit with him. And at the fact that he's what, 26, 25, blah, this is a point for us to part ways, bro. If we can sell this guy, let him go. Like, let him fucking go. Like, I don't see, he's not world class. He's not nothing. He's just a fucking normal player who has who is good. And if he sticks to being good, he's very, very unplayable. He's very nice to watch. But I am not having this deal. I'm not. I'm not. I want to rip out his fucking head. The way I did Sancho, I want to do it to Rashford because it's blah. And then again, you see how the manager is being asked questions. He's been put on the spot. Now, I want to come back to you, D. Remember the conversation we were having? We were talking about how things sparked off and blah, blah, blah. And it all started because of the way the manager answered. So now I'm here, I'm asking you, my dude, you've seen how Rashford has answered this fucking question. Yeah? Not Rashford. You've seen how they've asked the gaffer and how everything is just blown out of proportion. Now people are saying that they're blaming the manager for saying internal matter, blah blah. So, dude, explain to me what was you supposed to say, especially with all the news around him. Like, the news was already out there before he knew. Like, there were rumors already out there that this guy did what he did. So that people already know, they just want answers, and then they keep on asking these fucked up questions. I'm asking you, D, what is he supposed to do? Because this is literally similar to Sancho's situation, albeit that just different circumstances, but it's the same fucking thing. So I ask you because you are on the fence. You know, me, I was not on the fence. I ask you as my dude, you are on the fence. What say you about this? What say you? Me, you already know what I've got. Like, I mean, me, bruh, I'm pissed. Like, I'm annoyed. I really, really fucking am pissed. Deep. I don't fucking like the beat. I don't. So you already know where my stance is, and I already told you that we should get rid of this fucking kid. Let's bring back Greenwood, bro. Greenwood is doing the motherfucking business. I really hope in it. Anyway, my guy. So I'm not having this bullshit of Rashford. I'm not. I'm not. I'm really interested to hear the on the fence people what they think about this whole situation. Because again, my manager is being attacked. This is me who I am the one who's supporting the gaffer. And I'm like, what should he do? You know, this is a very like this is going to be a debate, like a topic for our debate, my guy. We have to have this conversation, you know, on the fence and somebody who's ten hag in, and let's discuss and see what going on with this Rashford thing. Obviously not now, but yeah. Um. So yeah, man, that's my two piece about this whole thing.
All right. So that's what Ben had to say. Full disclosure. Obviously, I've heard this Rian before, and I did respond to him. But just for you guys' sake, I'm not on the fence with this situation. I'm fully on Ten Hag's side. I think this situation is so unique and it's so different because this is the second time that Marcus Rashford has done it. And as I explained to Ben, was the difference with this one, and he did say that look, circumstances are different, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing that boils down to disciplinary issues, right? So I basically explained to him that look, in Sancho's case, and guys, don't get me wrong, I'm not defending Sancho. What he did was wrong, but I said in Sancho's case, at least he turned up for training, right? Whether that training was optimum or to his best of his ability. And I, I don't want to keep on going back and forth with this whole Sancho thing, right? You guys know my thoughts, you know my opinion on the whole Sancho thing. But yeah, basically, I told Ben that look, with the Sancho thing, at least he showed up. All right. Albeit, look, the late thing, we don't know if on that day when he showed up for training and he was told that his performance was not good enough for him to start. We don't know if on that day specifically he turned up late, right? So I don't want to say that on that day he turned up late. And what we do know for facts that on that day of training his performance was not up to par. Cool, we've established that, right? So for my argument was at least he turned up, right? With Rashford, he literally flew across country, right? Came back, was not in a good condition to even make the training or be selected for the team. And so I think that's a big spit to the manager's face. And as I explained to Ben, is that with Rashford, he's a much more bigger attraction or icon or whatever you want to put it. Like he's seen more of a United leader, senior player, highest paid player, poster boy for United. He has to be more responsible with his actions over Jadon Sancho. Now, not to say that all other players have got leeway to go and misbehave and do things out of character because they're not seen as leaders or poster boys for the club. But Marcus Rashford has a much more greater responsibility to uphold the morals and the values and set a good example for even the kids coming from the academy, for the younger players in the team of this is what you need to do as a senior player, you know, and really show a spitting example of what a senior player should be doing and should look like in the team, whether you're performing on and off the pitch, but you need to uphold those standards. And Marcus Rashford did not. This is the second time he's doing it, the second time. And it feels like he's taken advantage of Eric Ten Hag's authority. And one of the journalists in the press conference said the same thing to Ten Hag. Like, do you think that, your authority is being taken advantage of? And obviously Ten Hag didn't want to get into it. It's like, look, we dealt with it. We gave him the punishment. He skipped a game and he's back on. Now, that's where the problem is. Because if these players are going to feel that, oh, I can go and do whatever I need to do, get a slap on the wrist, on the hand, sorry, and still be able to make it back into the team, what's going to stop them from doing it again? What's going to stop Marcus Rashford from going out and doing it for the third time, knowing that, oh, I'll just miss this one match maybe that he would view is not important. It's just Newport. They don't need me for this game, right? I can go and misbehave, come back, apologize, and then make it for a game that I want to make it for. So it's going to cause major disruption. And for that, I do not condone. And that's why I'm fully behind Ten Hag on this one. That Marcus Rashford is wrong, and a slap on the wrist deserves a much. It's not punishment enough because Jaden Sancho felt the full brunt of the punishment, regardless of him not apologizing. They really went the distance with it. And Marcus Rashford, this is the second time he does it. It's the second time. That was Jaden Sancho's first time coming out to the media like that, right? It was not his second, third time. It hasn't been a habit of him to go online and do it. But this can easily become a bad habit of Marcus Rashford where he feels that, or if he's given that impression that he can go and do these things and then still come back into the squad with very minimal punishment. Right now, look, I'm not. I want to get into the wages, right? But I don't want to come out and seem like a person that is, man, I don't even know how to find the words, but saying that a player is not deserving of this money. But these players are being overpaid, right? And if the club, man, I don't know how to say, but anyway, look, basically what I'm trying to say is that these players are they're given money that's allowing them to have access to all these things that can make them sway out of line, right? Marcus Rashford is being paid healthy amount of money that can afford him to say, look, I'm going to take a private jet to Belfast, fly back, and then be back in training in 2 days, right? It's because of the type of money that he's earning at the club. And I feel that these players, I'm not trying to say take the money away from the players, but they need to be hurt in the pocket so they do not go out and do these type of things. So Marcus Rashford needs to receive a monetary fine and say, look, we're gonna punish you for this amount because you did this. And then maybe that will get into the players' heads to say, look, if I'm gonna get a monetary fine, I'm not gonna go out there and misbehave as much as I want to do because it's gonna hurt me in the pocket. So that way they'll be more incentivized to stay in line and behave themselves. Now I'm not saying that players should not have private lives and go out and party and have fun, but you also just need to know when to do it and when not to do it. Gary Neville said it very well. You should go check out the video. It's probably on YouTube, Instagram, all social media platforms. But he basically said, look, there's nothing wrong with what Marcus Rashford did, but it's just the timing. You can't go and do that after you lose to Man City and you're playing Newcastle next and you're eighth in the league. It doesn't make sense. Right now, United is going through a very turmoil situation in the club. This is not the time for you to be partying and not making practices and not showing up for the team because FA Cup is literally the last chance of us winning silverware. We're out of all the European competitions, and we are way, 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 way behind top of the league in Premier League. And let's not even talk about top four. So this is not the time to be going out and you know being flashy and extravagant and putting yourself into a position that's really going to affect the team, affect the club, and affect yourself personally. So that's all I have to say. Anyway, guys, like I said, we're playing Wolves today. It's an away match. What time are we playing? Let me just quickly check on the website. We are playing at 8:15. 8:15 kickoff. It's gonna be an evening kickoff. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be watching that match. I may go out. Today's my birthday. So yeah, hopefully Wolves can pull a victory off on my birthday. Manchester United can pull a victory off on my birthday. So hopefully that's gonna go well. But anyway, guys, with that being said, it's been your boy D, and we're probably gonna have Ben back in what, a day or two. He might be available to do the match reaction with me. If not, obviously, then I'll do it with myself. And then whenever he's available again, we're gonna have another episode out. But with that being said, this really has been a while. With that being said, thank you for listening to this episode of the Glory Reds. You catch us on all your favorite podcast and streaming platforms, and of course on YouTube at Glory Reds FC. And with that being said, I'm out. Peace.